There's certain athletes that have, I'll call it, they defy your eye. Like you see them do things, you're like, rerun that. I want to see that again.
Vick on 2nd and 8, off the play fake, has some running room. Inside the 30, inside the 20, Vick into the end zone. Falcons win in overtime, a 46-yard touchdown run.
Michael Vick. When you hear the name Michael Vick, you automatically think about his agility on the football field and how he changed the game of football forever. Set him apart from different dual threat quarterbacks like Steve Young, Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon. During the NFL seasons, during 16 games and plus playoff games, he made defensive coaches and defensive coordinators worry how to stop him for the week to come. There is no doubt there is no other player, especially in the quarterback position, quite like Michael Vick. But there is 5 games that prove how great Michael Vick actually was. During the 2 years he started for Virginia Tech, he was a menace on the field, a force to be reckoned with that defenses have to worry every night to play him. But there was a specific game that actually kick-started his greatness. In 1999 season, he had an unbelievable year. Taking the Virginia Tech Hokies, that was 7-5 the year prior, he took the Hokies to an undefeated season to all the way to the Sugar Bowl for a national championship versus Florida State. In the first half, it was not going so well. They were getting beat 28-7 going to the halftime. But in the second half was a different story. Michael Vick led a furious charge come back from behind, a 21-point deficit that let them take the lead in the end of the fourth quarter. Even though they lose at the end, it was still a great effort for Michael Vick that kickstarted his greatness. In 2001, he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons and had limited playing time. But in 2002, he led the Atlanta Falcons to a wild card spot in the playoffs, having his team 9-6-1. But the problem is, he was facing Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs on the road at Lambeau Field, and Brett Favre that never lost a home playoff game. During the playoff game, Michael Vick was basically unstoppable, juking the defense of the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre couldn't get going. Michael Vick single-handedly on the offense took over the game, and it wasn't even close, making Brett Favre suffer his first ever playoff loss at home. But Michael Vick made one of the greatest playoff moments in the history of the NFL.
Right, and if there was a quarterback that he always wanted to emulate, it was Steve Young, and he has a lot of the same tools that Steve Young had, including this.
Yep, what they call the old escapability.
In 2004, Michael Vick didn't even reach the peak of his prime yet, taking the Atlanta Falcons in 2004 into the playoffs with an 11-5 record. But they faced a well-known team that has been consistent over the years in the playoffs, known as the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams, in the divisional round. But this game was known for as one of the greatest performances by Michael Vick in a playoff game. He went for 12 for 16 and 82 yards in passing yards with 2 touchdowns and 8 rushing carries for 119 yards, blowing out the Rams 47-17. During the peak of his prime, he went to prison for dogfighting, but in 2009 he had a second chance in getting signed by the Philadelphia Eagles, being the backup to Donovan McNabb. But Donovan McNabb got traded later next year to the Washington Redskins, and now Kevin Kolb was actually promoted to starter in 2010 versus the Packers. Kevin Kolb went down, and guess what? Michael Vick got his chance once again. You would think being away from the sport, he would show a lot of rust. But in this game, he showed no rust, as he tried to make the comeback for the Eagles to beat the Green Bay Packers in the season opener in 2010. But this is well known as Michael Vick's comeback. But the Michael Vick comeback came up a little bit short. In a losing effort, Michael Vick went 16 for 24, 175 yards with a touchdown, and he had 11 rushing attempts with 103 yards rushing. After that performance, he was named the starter for the following week and the rest of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles, leading them to the playoffs.
On first down, pass to Selleck, a whiff on the tackle by Phillips, and Selleck gets a block and will cruise.
Week 10, Michael Vick was part of one of the biggest beatdowns on Monday night, and the game was called the Monday Night Massacre. This is no doubt Michael Vick's best career game in his entire career in any level of football. 6 total touchdowns. He was 20 for 28 in passing for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. He scored 45 points before even halftime. They totaled more than 592 yards, and he beat the Washington Redskins 59-28. This comes to show Michael Vick is one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever stepped on the field, talking about agility and how he changed the dynamic of the game in just one single run or one single pass. He was that good. He was that great. But just telling you about him does not do justice. He was that good to watch him, and I enjoyed every second of it because there's only one Michael Vick in a lifetime.
1st and 10 for Vick. He's looking for somebody to throw to. If he gets past this man, he'll have some place to go. Somehow he got away from the initial tackler.